So we're going to start off downloading Atom. So I've already pushed download, so I am going to go into my downloads folder, open this up, and find try and find the Atom. I'm not sure why it's not showing up. Right there. Okay, I'm going to install that. It's free. So here it is. So I think we're just going to do open a project. So in our documents folder, we can create a new folder called, I'm going to say root folder, since that's kind of the name of the folder, that's kind of what they're referred to. Or you could make this your site name. So if you had a website for like the Coffee Hound, say, you name it Coffee Hound website or something like that. But I'm just going to name this root folder. It's kind of a generic name. So file, new file. Maybe we'll try that. Click these out. We don't need these open, I don't think. So here's our root folder. This is what we're in this. Once we set up our project, we can kind of see everything that's in our folder. We haven't saved this yet, so we'll do a file, save as, and we're in the root folder, so we'll do index.html. And that's, you need to save it as index.html, because that would be, your browser needs to be able to recognize that as your home page, and you usually start with the home page. And that's kind of what we're making today in class. It's just kind of a theoretical home page. So if we do save, we have our index.html in our root folder. And so if we start here, what we're going to need to start off with, let's see here, document type, HTML. And that actually is every time we start a new document, every time that you would start a new document, and once you start to print it in there, like, it'll actually throw it in there for you, which is nice. So doctype.html, and that helps the browser recognize this page as a HTML5 document. And then so we can kind of start with the HTML tags, and you can go down and click. It'll automatically throw this stuff in for you. So it automatically put in a head, which actually has meta information. It has a title here. This is where we would put our style sheet link. The body is right here, and this is kind of where we would put different information. So the head tag kind of includes stuff that's invisible on your web page, but still important. It's mostly just stuff that helps connect it to the style sheet or add the title, which is, let's just put in hello world. This is meta information, and it just helps your browser recognize like the language of the page. I don't totally understand it in great detail, but I know basically what it does, and like it needs to be there. The body tags are right here, the opening, close, and closing here. And here's the opening and closing head tag, but the body tag is here, and it holds the visible elements of the web page. Okay, well, let's add in like HTML elements within the body tag. We'll start there. And what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to indent a couple spaces in when you're creating things that are nested within each other. So we're going to just do an H1. Oops. So, and we're going to put hello world. So, and then we'll save that file, save. And then we will, I wonder if there's a way to open this. View. I guess there's nothing in here that I was kind of wondering if it wouldn't, if we couldn't open it up in our browser, but let's just go into that root folder in our documents and double click on this, and we can see we have hello world here. That's actually our title, and then we have hello world here, and actually I have a tag here that is showing up that probably need to do something about. There's an extra one somewhere, apparently. Maybe it's because this is on here twice. Yeah. Okay, well, let's try this and see if that works. Did that open it in Chrome? So if we refresh, there, that got rid of it. So there's our first H1 here. It's a heading. It's automatically styled by the browser. So if we just kind of go in here and make H2, we can kind of see what these look like. So if I start to go here, it'll automatically do that, and then I can just do, which is kind of snazzy. It's a little bit faster that way. And then it goes H1 through H6. So I'm just gonna put them all in there, just so you guys can see what they all look like. Because the H1 is going to be the biggest, and then it's going to kind of go down in size. File save. We'll have to do a save, and then we have to do a refresh. Oops. In our browser window to kind of see what's going on here. See how that worked out. So there's the H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. So that's kind of a neat little exercise. What else can we put in here? We could put in some paragraph tags. So, I mean, we could put in more text than that. File, save. So let's take a look and see what that looks like in the browser. This is just a really basic website that we're going to be making. So this is what the paragraph text looks like just on its own. So let's look at Codecademy, because I was actually going into the CSS, but let's go back to, let's see, we'll go back to the HTML. So this is the course. Go back into here, elements and structure. So they talk about strong tags in here. We could talk about list items. That would probably be a good thing to talk about. Yeah, so let's try that. List, so let's do a list. Unordered list is UL, and then inside that would be LI list item. And then we could make this like home, oops, LI list item. Let's say contact. So if that's an unordered list, and then if we wanted to make a ordered list, we could do it this way. And we got to put our list items in there, the LIs. I'm just going to do the same thing that I did up there. Home and contact. Okay, so if we file save, let's look back on our browser and see what this looks like. Okay, so here's our lists. One's ordered and one isn't. So what if we wanted to make these the navigation? So one thing we could do is we could wrap it in a nav tag. So let's just push a return here so we can put a nav in. Let's see. Is this on the same? I want to get it on the same line as the body. Let's do that. Navigation. So it kind of automatically put this in, but we can take that out. And we can put that underneath our lists. Make sure our lists are, oops, let's see. We're going to have two different navs here. One, and nav is made with an unordered list, so this can stay. Let's just make this a different kind of list. Let's just make this apples. And let's say this is a grocery list. So file save, and then so this will be our navigation. So we'll need to make these list items links. So if we go back in, oops, if we go back into, let's see, I'm in the wrong folder here. It's just, okay, so that didn't really do a lot. Let's refresh. Okay, so we need to make our LI items links. So if we do href, so we could do like a local root folder here of like dot slash index.html. So this will actually this kind of represents the root folder, the dot slash, and then index.html. So this should link to this page that we're in now. And then if we made another file, so like what if I just do this, and then we did dot slash contact.html. We have yet to have made that page, but we will make a page called contact.html. So we have our index.html in here. We do a file save. And we'll need to take this A and move it on the outside of this. So we'll just grab this and move it on the outside. And then do a file save.